have successfully inserted our charts and all relevant tables for our first dashboard. So what is important that we do next is to look at our axis, okay? We look at this, it's quite clustered with a minimum at 0 naira and the maximum at 400,000 naira. If we come to our data, that is the summary, we'll find out that we don't have any close to 400. We have 338 and we don't have anyone lower than 100. So it means we can basically make our axis more compact for better representation. So I want to do that by right-clicking on this series where we have the values and we'll say format axis, okay? If we look at this bound area here, Excel automatically started this based on the values we have here at 0 as minimum and 400,000 as maximum. So our maximum value here is special at 338,000. So we could make our maximum to be 350,000, and I think that maximum will be fine. If I click somewhere outside, we have it adjusted. You see, we have it at 300,000. Are you seeing that the values are no longer clustered? But we still have something to do to make our chart look more compact. We come back, I left click to select, and I right click and I select format axis. Then I want to come to minimum. We have, I think, a minimum of about 154. So starting at 100 wouldn't be a bad idea. Okay, we have minimum of 100,000 and a maximum of 350,000, considering our data range here. I click to adjust. So it is adjusted appropriately now. A clear value presentation, okay? So if we check now, we have a difference of 50,000, right? So this difference can also be adjusted, okay, by coming back to the units area. So we have a 50, look at this major area here, we have 50,000 difference. What if you want your difference to be at 25,000, okay? So 25,000. I click somewhere and we have the difference of 25,000. However, it's not a great idea because we still have it clustered. So I think taking it to 50,000 will be better. So 50,000. But that is how you adjust this axis. Now we have it clear, looks good. Yeah. And I think it's better here. The difference here is 5,000. And this is fine this way. So we can work on this as well. Minimum should be 5,000. Okay, I think that is good. So in one of our previous classes, we talked about arranging or ordering data in ascending or descending order. So if we order this data, we can also adjust how our chart looks, at least in the order that we would like it to be. So this is from smallest to the largest order. I think this makes sense. If you want it the other way around, you highlight your data, come to editing group, that is in your home tab, and smallest to largest, you have it there. Okay, let's apply the same here. All right, everything we've done here, we need to be able to connect them. And to connect them, we'll definitely need a slicer, okay? I can, because this is a pivot table and a pivot chart, I can click on either of them and go to pivot table analyze. On the filter group, I will say insert slicer. So I want to insert a slicer that will be able to cut across every variable. So to do that, I have to look at something, a filtering option that will be able to help me do that. Realizing that we're talking about sales performance here, I think it would be most appropriate if we use year, okay? Because we already have products here, we already have units sold, sales, and so on. So let's pick year as our slicer. So we've picked year as our slicer, and we'll definitely have to adjust this slicer. I will click hold here and drag up to adjust it. Now we have one column here on this slicer. selecting the slicer by clicking on it, you realize you have the slicer option here on the ribbon. So on the buttons group, we can change the column to 2, and then you have your arrangement this way. You can also change the height and the width, right? Or manually adjust it this way. Okay. So now that we've inserted this slicer can only comfortably affect the first chart. Okay. So for us to ensure that it can cut across every other, we'll right click on the slicer and say report connection, and then link it up to all of these pivot tables and pivot charts we have here. So I'll just select all of them to make sure that they can affect others as well. So when I click now, it's going to definitely affect others. Let's look at this line chart. So for one, I like my line charts being smooth. So if you are that person as well, this is how we go about it. So we click on the series, right? You can then right click on the series and say format data series. We want to go to the fill bucket, okay? Then we want to work on the line. You can format the line or format the marker, okay? Just by clicking on them. So we want to scroll down to the end and say smooth line. You see we have a smooth line now. See how it appears. So if for any reason you want to change, let's say you have a theme, you want to change the color of the lines, you click on the series. Since we already have this format data series pane open, you just go ahead and increase the width of the line and change the color. Let's say your theme's color is green. You can select green and there you have it. Okay. You might want to actually change how these charts look. For instance, this bar chart on a column chart, on a stacked bar chart and column chart, you could basically effect these edits that we want to do now. You see, you have a whole lot of space between this series, and this way the chart is just looking like one tiny kind of stuff. So what we need to do is to basically work on gap width, okay, to reduce the gap width to make the series bigger, okay. This way you kind of have a wholesome view of what the chart looks like. Doesn't look so skinny anymore. Okay, apart from the series, I want to show us something. We have basically 3 buttons here. We have the fill and line, we have the effects, and we have the series option. So when you click to select the series, you can basically do some settings following these 3 buttons. To change the color and decide if it's lines you want, you can use the fill and line, okay? For instance, if we don't want a fill or we want a line rather than a fill, if we want our charts to be lines rather than fill, we say solid line. We have a solid line. Then we go to fill and say no fill. So we have lines now, but no fill. So let's go back to border and work on the lines we have. Increase the width of our lines this way, say 2.5. Then we look at we are not working with the dash type because we want it to be straight lines.